Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor, hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Who's the guy on the bye week that needed it the most that should be ready to go in terms of being healthy on Sunday for the Saints? The
I mean, the
car?
guy who needed it the most was Derek Carr. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I don't know if there was really a good chance he would have played if they didn't have the bye this week. I feel pretty good about him being available for Sunday's game. Yeah, we still got to hear the official word that he's cleared the protocol, but I feel pretty good about it. And I don't think I would have felt good about it at all if they would have had to play last week.
You feel good about the Saints offense?
No, come on. We got 10 games to work with here, and it's just been one step forward and three steps back. Their running game is kind of in shambles right now. Their passing game, for all the weapons they have, hasn't been consistent enough. Their numbers are probably a little bit of a mirage because they've had to dig out of some big deficits late in games. So I have no confidence in this offense right now, and they have given me no reason to feel good about it.
Talk to me about the running game. I mean, why is it so bad?
I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. They've got guys, Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, and Kendra Miller, just on paper, a very, very good running back room. Their offensive line has stayed pretty healthy all season. They've got the explosive weapons in the passing game that you think would take some attention off the running game. But it's all been bad. I mean, the only good part of it has been Taysom Hill running the ball so far. And even Taysom Hill, if you're looking at his numbers, he's averaging a career low in yards per carry. It's still really good. It's like 5.2 yards per carry, but it's still the worst for him in his whole career. So I wish I had an answer for you. I don't know if their scheme is outdated, if their blocking is just really not that good. I don't know. It seems like it's impossible for them to get to the second level. They have the lowest, I don't know what the right word for it is, but the lowest long run out of any team in the NFL this year. Their longest run of the year is 20 yards. And that's the worst out of it. I think they're one of two NFL teams with only one carry of 20 plus yards this year. It's bad.
That is awful. This is a big picture question here, but Michael Thomas goes on IR. What does his NFL future look like?
I mean, I think he showed this year he's still he needs to be on a roster, right? I think I don't think you can put what he is suffering this year injury-wise in the same basket as what kind of ruined the last 3 years for him. I just also think that the chances of him being the guy we saw the first 4 years of his career, I mean, are probably pretty slim. He was probably never going to be a guy who's going to be able to maintain that pace. And I think a lot of NFL receivers start to slow down right around the time they hit 30 years old. I thought maybe Mike could be a guy who extended his career a little bit longer than some of the other ones because his game has never been based off of being super explosive. But it's just he's probably at this stage, considering his recent injury history, he's like a valuable number 2 or number 3, right? And not like the superstar that he was in 2019 and 2018.
What's different today that with the Saints defense as opposed to the first 3-4 weeks of the year where they were continuing that streak of holding teams under 20 points?
Well, their pass rush has just been abysmal. I mean, there's really no way around that. I think everything else in their game is pretty much held up. Maybe their running games kind of showed some cracks and they've faced some better teams that are better running the football. But the fact that teams kind of consistently just have all day to sit back there and look at what's going on at that back end, I think that's hurt them. I think teams have been able to jump on them, and then by the time the Saints actually figure something out, it's kind of too late. That's why you see him go out and add a guy like Jason Pierre-Paul. Even though he's 34 years old, he had 5.5 sacks the last 2 years combined. I don't know how much he actually adds, but they need to do something. And maybe that the answer is going to be to start bringing Demario Davis or Tyrann Mathieu or some other second level pressures because their front four is simply just not getting the job done right now. And when that's happening, that kind of like unsteadies their whole foundation of their defense. All that said, I still think that they can finish the year with a really, really good defense. They still have good players at all three levels. And I think we kind of saw this last year too. They went through like a 3-4 game stretch where they were just kind of bad. I'm thinking about like the middle of the season, they got like 30 points put up on them by the Vikings. They had the Bengals put up a bunch of points on them. The Cardinals did. And then at the end of the year, they were awesome. And I think that's still possible. But they gotta figure something out with this pass rush.
What's this Falcons offense look like now that Desmond Ritter's back in the saddle?
I mean, yeah, they're kind of a mirror image of the Saints, right? Like they've got a lot of good players, and they're not getting a lot out of them. As somebody who owns Drake London and Kyle Pitts on my fantasy football team, look, I mean, it's just you thought they'd be better. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, two really good running backs. They got a good scheme running the football. You had questions about Ritter, but like you thought, like with the weapons, that they at least have like kind of a functional offense, and it hasn't been. Yeah, they move the ball okay, but they're turning the ball over way too much. Ritter, I think that the moment was definitely too big for him, and they've been disappointing, much like the Saints. I mean, these two teams are really, really similar. And it goes beyond like they've got the former Saints executive as their GM and Terry Fontenot. They have the former Saints defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen, as their defensive coordinator. They've got a couple former Saints in their defense. But like you look at the numbers and they're really similar. They're not scoring enough points on offense despite some of their yardage numbers. And defensively, they are, faring okay, top 10, top 12, and a bunch of numbers, but the record doesn't really reflect it. So I don't know, man. It's just these are two very disappointing teams, and they're both coming off the bye. They're both, well, I guess they're up there for the NFC South lead, and this is really an opportunity for one of them to kind of take the head start going down the stretch run of the season here. But they've got to prove they can be something other than this disappointing version of themselves.
I'm laughing because Michael Rothstein, who covers the Falcons for ESPN, was on yesterday, and he was like, man, these two teams are not good. Like, in first place is on the line, and nobody in Atlanta cares, and nobody in New Orleans cares either. I'm curious your experiences in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Michael Rothstein, who covers the Falcons, was like, yeah, I've never seen this place full or raucous. It wouldn't surprise me if there were half as many Saints fans as there were Falcons fans on Sunday. Like, what do you experience when you go there?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool stadium. The atmosphere has never really been great there. And I don't blame them, honestly. Like they've got like a lot of really good stuff going for them there, except for the football team, right? like they've been good, really good one time in the last, 15 years?
Yeah.
And that ended with just like the most embarrassing Super Bowl loss in history. So I mean, this is not like crapping on Falcons fans, which like I know maybe some people want to hear, but like they haven't given that city or that fan base like much to really care about or root for because they've just been this kind of also ran team for so long.
Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.